All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, glory to YAHAWAH, BaHaShem, YAHAWASHI, BaHaShem, YAHAWASHI. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone that taught us the truth, and salutations to the hopeful elect that's around the four corners of the globe. And the elect begins with 144,000. YAHAWAH, who the world ignorantly calls God and Jehovah. BaHaShem is in the name. YAHAWASHI, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. The Rakakwa Doctor cheers the Holy Spirit. I'm the brother I will Lumia with the GMS Chicago branch out here in Chicago. Come back at you with another lesson. And Lord, and I hope this lesson be edifying to the hopeful righteous elect. I'm just basically titled this lesson, we shall be changed. Talking about us getting those incorruptible bodies. The Lord changing us from the corruptible, to the incorruptible. Meaning what? We're not going to sin. We're going to have bodies that are perfect. We're not going to go off. And the Lord gave me the inspiration to do this lesson. It's a dream that I had. I couldn't remember most of that dream, but what I could remember was the phrase or the word tentai. So I basically woke up in the middle of the night and looked up the word tentai because it was said in my dream. And this is what I, found. It says, what does tentai mean in Japanese? It says heavenly body, celestial bodies, a celestial body, heavenly bodies. Right. This is the Lord. The Lord, gave me that dream. Like I said before, I couldn't remember all of the dream that I had. All I can remember that it was a while, but the term or the word or the phrase that I could remember was the term or the word tentai, which is a Japanese word going into the heavenly bodies, the celestial bodies. Through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI gave me the inspiration to do this lesson. And ultimately, us having those incorruptible bodies, is scriptural. But let's jump straight into it. This is the book of 1 Corinthians 15 and 51. No, I'm going to start at 50. 1 Corinthians 15 to 50. It says, now this I say, brethren, the flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Yahweh, neither does corruption inherit incorruption. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. Right? Meaning what? Like, we're not all going to die. Some men in this truth is going to be martyrs, but we're not all going to die. Some men is going to, remain alive until they get those incorruptible bodies. I'm going to read that again. Verse 51, it says, behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. And let me get a precept on that, actually, because it talks about that. Let's get that in Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 3. The strangeness of their salvation, because when that chariot light, beams us up, we're going to be changed instantly, with the snap of a finger. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 2. It says, when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed at the strangest of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. Because as the elect is getting beamed up, what is these people going to witness? The chariots, beaming up the elect in the chariots, but also what? The elect being changed, So let's go back to that 1 Corinthians. This is the book of 1 Corinthians 15, and I'm going to read 52 again. It says, in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead... Actually, I think I'm going to start at 51 again. 1 Corinthians 15 to 51. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. Right. We're going to be changed, we're going to be changed out of these corruptible bodies, into the incorruptible bodies, a body that's not going to go off, a body that's going to keep the law, statutes, and commandments 100%. And we're also going to have spiritual powers, to come along with that body. It says, verse 52, in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed, right? Because the ones that died in this truth, they're going to be the ones to get those incorruptible bodies first, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality, because, ultimately when we get those new bodies, we're going to be immortal. We're not going to die. That's also a part of the second covenant. Where we're going to be made perfect. The Lord is going to give us those new bodies. We're not going to go off. We're going to keep the law, statutes, and commandments 100%. We're going to have powers. We're going to be able to fly. All that comes along will have that incorruptible body. We shall all be changed. Verse 54 says, so when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. Right, death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. That was pretty much the point. But ultimately, when we be changed into those incorruptible bodies, we're not gonna die. That part, that's a part of the second covenant. We're gonna be made perfect. We're gonna live forever. We're not gonna go off. Let's get that in Revelations. This is the book of Revelations 21:4. It says, and Yahawah shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. Right, says what? There shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, because we're going to be made perfect. We're not going to live in a age where we're going to see each other die. Us Israelites. Because we're going to be made perfect, and we're going to be immortal. We're going to have spiritual powers. And most important, the most important thing, we're not going to sin. We're going to be perfect in the eyes of Yahawah Bahasham YAHAWASHI. And that's important that we be changed, because in Romans 7, Paul talks about, oh wretched man that I am. So Salakia. That's why it's important that that we be changed. So this is the book of Romans 7. Romans 7:14, just real quick, a reason why we need to be changed. This is the book of Romans 7:14. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, so under sin. For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that do I. Because ultimately, we were in this corruptible flesh. That's ultimately, why we have to be changed. This flesh that we're currently in, the corruptible flesh, is, subject unto sin. No matter how, how much good you think you're doing, you're ultimately going to go off. It says verse 16, it says, if then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that is good. Now then it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. For I know that in me, that is my flesh, right? Us being in this corruptible body, the flesh, dwelleth no good thing, for to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good I find not. And why is that? Paul, the apostle Paul talking, how, wicked this flesh is, and going back to what I read in that 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, we shall be changed, because ultimately the reason why, we fail as a nation, because us being in this flesh and us going off against our powers, Yahawah Bahasham YAHAWASHI, us being in this vile body, that's why we're going to be made perfect, because look at the mighty men of old, King David, he committed adultery, he was a man after the Lord's heart, he committed adultery. He was, he was a righteous man, but what? He ended up going off also, just think about, the great men of old, us, being in this wicked flesh. That's why, it's important, that we have to be changed, because, us being in this flesh, it has always separated us from Yahawah Bahasham YAHAWASHI. It says, verse 19, it says, for the good that I would not, it says, for the good that I would do, not, but the evil which I would not, that I do. Now, if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. And right out, all comes with this corruptible, flesh, this corruptible flesh. That's why, we need that incorruptible body, because like I said before, us being in this wicked flesh, we're bound to sin, Verse 21, I'm gonna read verse 20 again. So that's now if I do that, I would not. It is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. I find that, so like I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me. Right. This is talking about, Paul is talking about this corruptible flesh, the flesh. As he said, what the flesh, dwelleth no good thing. You know, that's why it's important that we be changed. When Yahawashi makes his second return, we're going to be changed in the twinkling of an eye, as I read in that First Corinthians, the 15th chapter. But let's jump back. I had to bring out that Romans 7 real quick. This is the book of Jeremiah 31 and 33. It says, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel, right? The second covenant, because in Hebrews, I believe it's Hebrews, the 8th chapter, how it talks about, let's actually get that real quick. I got to make this point before I jump into that Jeremiah. It's important that I, jump into these few points. This is the book of Hebrews. Let's get it. Hebrews 8. And Hebrews 8 and 6. Actually, I'm going to highlight all this because this is very important. A reason why we need to be changed. This is the book of Hebrews 8 and 6. But now hath he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. It says, for if that first covenant had been faultless, then shall no place have been sought for the second. For finding fault with them, right, we were always the problem. Us being in this vile body, us being in this corruptible body. That's why it's important, that we be changed, because what? If we don't be changed, we'll go to that, the endless cycle of sinning against YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI. Verse 8, it says, for finding fault with them, he said, behold, the days come, said the Lord, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continue not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people. Right? So YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI is going to make us perfect. When Yahawashi makes his second return, Yahweh going to send, Yahawashi, back, to deliver his elect. But upon Yahawashi's second return, we're going to be changed, as I, land back in onto that First Corinthians, the 15th chapter I read. In the twinkling of an eye, we shall be changed. Because it was nothing wrong with the first covenant. We were the problem. Us being in this vile flesh, us being in this corruptible body. But the second covenant is going to be, consist of us being perfect. Us having the laws in our inward parts, us keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments perfect. We're never going to go off again. It says, verse 11 says, they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me from the least to the greatest. It says, for I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more. And that he said, a new covenant he hath made the first old. Now that which decayeth and waxes old is ready to vanish away. Right? Ultimately, we're going to be made perfect, and we're never going to go off again. So with that being said, now let's jump into that Jeremiah 31 and 33. This is the book of Jeremiah 31 and 33. It says, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. Right? Talking about the covenant I read in Hebrews, the 8th chapter, the second covenant. Jeremiah 31 and 33, it says, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord Yahweh. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their power, and they shall be my people. Right? And this is going into the second covenant, us having those new bodies, us being programmed to do right, us being programmed to keep the law, statutes, and commandments perfectly. The Lord is going to, it's like downloading new software. The Lord is going to download that new software within us, man. We're going to keep the law, statutes, and commandments perfectly. No Israelite is going to go off. All Israel is going to be perfect, starting with the elect. But let's continue. And like I said, this is this is why we must be changed. And we're going to be changed. This is the book of Isaiah 40 and 31. It says, "But they that wait upon the Lord Yahawah shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint." Right, spiritual power. Because with those new bodies, with us being changed, as I read in the 1 Corinthians the 15th chapter, the twinkling of an eye, we shall be changed. Loosely paraphrased, we're going to have spiritual powers. We're going to be able to fly. We're going to be able to run fast. All that is included with us being changed. But I want to read that Revelations again before I close out. This is the book of Revelations 21 and 4. It says, "And Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away." Right, we're going to be immortal. We're not have to worry about dying again because we're going to be immortal. We're going to keep the law, statutes, and commandments perfectly. We don't have to worry about death, as I mentioned before, because in the 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, but it talks about, "Oh, death, where is thy sting?" Because we're going to conquer death. We're not going to die. And our lesson, is included of us being changed, us being whole, us being perfect. The Lord putting the law, statutes, commandments in our inward parts, But I really wanted to touch upon that, just to touch upon, those, new bodies, the incorruptible bodies that we're going to get. But Lord willing, I hope this lesson was edifying. I want to end out by giving all praise and glory to Yahawah, Bahashim, Yahawashi, Bahashim, Makakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this truth. And salutations to the hopeful you like that's around the four corners of the globe. Lord willing, I hope this lesson was edifying. Until next time, Shalom and Kwam Yasharallah.